about 10:30 in the morning. I'm in zone 6B and it's about 75 degrees. So I am going to walk through my garden and show you what's growing to give you ideas of things that you may want to grow or may not want to grow. Okay, and I'm transitioning from my spring garden to my summer garden still. I have a lot of things that are the more cool season loving vegetables like my kale and my sugar snap peas. They're still growing and producing well. And I need to get in my heat-loving summer vegetables though too. So still trying to work around that. All right, here's my kale. It's growing wonderfully. I've been harvesting a lot of kale. I like it better in the cool seasons. I really like to grow kale mostly in the fall. And then as we start to transition to the winter, it gets so sweet because it goes through that hard freeze. And it turns really sweet because the starches in it turn to a sugar. The plant actually kind of develops like an antifreeze in it to protect it from freezing. And then in doing that, it turns real sweet. So right now it's not my most favorite time to grow kale, but it is good. I've been freezing a lot of that and putting it up. And then I have the dinosaur kale over here, and it's doing well. Had a tiny bit of insect damage on there. I haven't been here for a few days, and then so I wasn't able to spray with the BT, but I went ahead and nipped that in the bud last night. I went ahead and sprayed it with BT, which is what you need to use to keep the worms from eating your kale and things like that, and your broccoli, that kind of thing. Like I said, the sugar snap peas are still producing beautifully. I have some cucumbers down here coming up. So I'm going to probably pull out my sugar snap peas in about another week. They are still producing wonderfully, but I would really like to use this space here for tomatoes and then over here for green beans. Love sugar snap peas, but we've been eating so many of these lately, and when they start producing, they produce, and you've got to eat them up every day. You can freeze these for stir fries and that kind of thing, but I just love them fresh, and so that's how I eat them, and that's how my family eats them. So I think one more week we'll be tired of those, and we'll start to want some green beans. All right, lots of things growing over here. Have a little rat's tail right there. And it's kind of a bitter little, almost like a bean, but it's not really a bean. This is purple echinacea here. And this is the first year that it's actually bloomed. I grew this last year, and I don't think it got any taller than my knee. And this year it's at least 5 feet tall. So this is also echinacea. I'm growing some in my container garden as well, but it won't get this big in a container for sure. Parsley is bolted. I'll pull that out and make room for some heat-loving vegetables. I always try to grow what plants like to grow in. So remember that when you're trying to grow something, try to grow in the season that it likes and in the temperatures that it likes. Shallots down here, they're falling over to tell me they are ready for harvest. That's the red Holland shallot. My gray shallots are over here in this bed, and they are doing well. I think it's about time that I harvested those as well. Okay, they're right down here. A couple of heirloom tomato plants. I have a lemon oxheart right here, and then this right here is called a dwarf emerald giant. That's going to be interesting. Some really interesting little leaf on that too. All right, I'll just try to go through here pretty quick. Hyssop, doing well. Shallots here, they're looking good. Uncle Mark Bagby tomato plant, probably going to be the last year I'll try to grow that here. Has not been doing well since I've moved into this climate, but I've harvested some tomatoes from that plant since I've been here, but it's not a real good producer, so I always try to grow what produces real well for me. All right, sugar snap peas. Again, I'm going to let these go for about another week or two, and out they will go, and in will go some green beans. We have tons and tons of sugar snap peas to eat this week. Over here, I've let some red giant mustard go to seed. You can see there's developing a lot of little pods, and those will have to be dried and then broken open to get the seeds out. So my intention was to make mustard with those this year, but I don't think that I'm going to get around to it because I didn't realize just how many pods this would produce. And it's going to take a lot of time to get each little seed out of there. So that might be a winter project. If I can make mustard with it then, that might be what I'll do. White swan echinacea here. It's not as big as the purple, but it's doing okay. I have potatoes in here, cabbage, more peas, The galangal's doing nice. A lot of weeds in there. I need to pull those out. Some little giant zinnias down there. Those will be really pretty when they burst into bloom. Okay, over here, more kale. Cabbage is huge. Look how big the red cabbage is. That is going to be really nice. I have one carrot that overwintered in the ground here, and you can see it's starting to set seed. Look how tall it is. And then right next to it, I have some more carrots that I planted, the carnival blend. And those are looking really nice. I'll include a link at the end of the video for my video on my last year's carrot harvest, if you'd like to see that. And then if you like these arches too, I'll include a link for you can put an arch in your small garden. Love to have little arches. They maximize all of my growing space, and I think they give a lot of height to the garden as well. And they're super easy to install. Alright, thyme. Harvested that a couple of weeks ago and dried it. I'll include a video for that if you want to know more about drying thyme. But you can see there's little purple flowers on the ones that I did not snip off, and those are real pretty. This is elephant head amaranth right next to it. And that is a neat little plant. I'm real happy to grow that this year for the first time. So if you know anything about growing amaranth, if you have any tips for me, let me know. Alright. Over here is the Three Sisters garden, doing real nice. I've also planted some sweet potatoes in here just for the heck of it. And the corn is up. I need to go ahead and plant my pole beans next to it. I have a butternut squash in here and also patty pan squash. Potatoes doing very nice. Those are the Purple Majesty potatoes. Have some more rat's tail here kind of toppling out into the walkway. And then here's a better rat's tail to show you the little purple flowers that it produces before it produces the little pods. I made a dish with that last year with some red onions that were coming out of the garden at the same time. That's probably what I'll do this year because my red onions are toppling over. I've been harvesting some already, and I've been eating them up because they're so sweet and they're just wonderful. I just cannot get enough of those. I probably should plant a whole bed of those next year. And then the tomato plant here, this is the Sunrise Bumblebee. It's looking real nice. And then a couple more tomato plants here. I always try to put my milk jugs that I use to help water my garden, I like to put those on the sides of a water-loving vegetable, something that needs lots of water. So I filled actually that one up last night because it's supposed to be a really hot day today. And so that's what I did with that. The green beans are all coming up. They're greasy beans, and they're making their way up all the little arches. And I'll plant some more of those here very soon as I pull out my sugar snap peas. Alright, so I'm just basically transitioning over my garden now, and if you have any questions about anything that I'm growing, please feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I'll certainly try to help you. If you have any comments or suggestions also, I would love to read them. And then this is my son's lovely little garden. It's so pretty. And then that's the big Chelsea Prize cucumber vine climbing out on the side there. Alright, well thanks so much for watching, and y'all have a beautiful day. Here's some of what I ended up with. I have about 2 bunches of kale here, and then a lot of peas, and most of these are the sugar snap peas. There's some rat's tail in here. We'll be having these tonight. I'm going to do meatloaf and some mashed potatoes. So that's what we'll have for dinner. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go get the onions now.